is done.
Okay, let me introduce you.
Hey, I'm Bobbie.
Never mind, she just did. So this is our oldest living sister, Bobbie, and everybody knows how old she is by now.
I'm 75.
She's
I'm
75.
3/4 of a century old.
And she was 10 years old when our mother passed away, right? Were you 10?
I was almost 10.
She was almost 10.
Yeah. Mama died in 58, and I turned 10 in 59.
So you were like 9 and a half.
March of 59.
Oh, so you were really close. You were about 9 and a half then, because it was October,
pretty
November,
close,
December.
pretty
Yeah, it
close.
was 9 and a half.
Yeah.
So do you remember anything of that time? Like, what's your memories of our mother? Like, I asked Linda, I said, did she have a deep voice? Did she have a high voice? Did she have an accent? What was her demeanor and what did you get from her?
Well, I got a slap across the face at one point.
I know that, I think. What did you do?
That was when I was staying with Marie for a little bit. Marie lived downstairs from us. And Marie took me shopping and bought me new clothes, a new purse, new shoes, dressed me up, made me look beautiful. And then when I was all done with that, I went upstairs and I told Mama, Mama, I want to live with Marie. And Mama looked at me and said, Barbara Ann, why you want to live with Marie? And look, she bought me pretty clothes and everything. And Mama came over me and she went, wallop, sent me flying right across the room. And I started bawling my eyes out. Then Mama, she come over and picked me up, sat me on her lap. She sat down, sat me on her lap, and started telling me about what love is and about what buying pretty stuff is not. You know, and that the love of family is much more important than having pretty things and that kind of stuff, because that stuff can be evil. It can lead you into the worst way. So all you got to worry about is your family, your love, and God. That's all you got to worry about.
That's what our mother told you.
Yeah.
So you never asked Marie for anything else, did you?
Never did. Never did.
No.
No. But that was my idea of having everything was, you know, being with Marie and I could have all the stuff I wanted. That's like when Emily ran away from our one foster home.
Yeah.
This was on April.
So Emily and Bobbie were in the same foster home
for 4 years.
Yeah.
Emily was having a problem with our foster brother, Jimmy. He wouldn't leave her alone, molesting her and that kind of thing. And she told Mom, and Mama didn't believe her. But I believed her because I saw it. And so anyway, Emily decided she was going to run away. And I looked at Emily and said, good, more stuff for me.
I thought you jumped the train with her. You got to tell that story.
That was a different time. That was when we decided we were going to run away and go back to Chicago and find Marie.
Oh, that's
we
right.
We wanted to find our family. So yeah, we left at night, and Mama and Daddy, they were out bowling. They belonged to a bowling league.
That's your foster parents you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he was Harold, and she was Dorothy, Odle. And so Emily and I, we went out and we decided we were going to hop that train that was sitting on the tracks over there in the yard, because it would take us to, you know, someplace. And we did. We hopped that train. We sat inside the open car, and we were freezing our butts off. I tell you what. And we're sitting there, when is this thing going to move? When is it going to move? And the snow is just coming down, and we're freezing, and it ain't moving. It ain't moving, and we ain't going.
And what time is it by now? Do you know?
It was probably maybe 10, 11, 10:30, somewhere around
11
there.
o'clock at night?
Yeah, it was getting late.
Wow. And the police weren't looking around
So
for you?
we got out of the train. We decided, this ain't going to take us no place. So we started walking. And we saw a house sitting off in the distance with the lights on. We decided we would go over there and see if maybe those people could help us find a way to get to Chicago. So
now, where were you? Where were you living? Do you remember?
We were in West Chicago, Illinois at the time.
Oh, West Chicago. Okay.
Yeah. And so we went over to this house. These people were really, really nice. We knocked on the door and they saw a couple of kids and they let us come in and they asked us our names and we told them Emily and Barbara Odle. That was our foster name. And this when we said, well, that's not really our name. That's only our foster name. Our real name is Williams, and we got to find our sister Marie. Can you help us? She's in Chicago. We can't get there. They said, well, let us make a couple of phone calls.
Oh boy.
So
That was your demise.
Once we told them our name was Odell. I mean, there are not many Odels in West Chicago.
No.
So they found Harold and Dorothy Odell, and they called them and told them that they had their foster kids. You know, and so they kept these people kept us entertained for a little bit, you know, talking and showing a lot of interest and giving us hot chocolate and
Basically detained for a couple of years.
detaining us, yeah.
Yep.
Next thing we know, the doorbell rings, and here's Dad Odell, you know, very stern, and Mom Odell, tears coming down her face, crocodile tears. That's what I thought, anyway. I didn't believe them. I didn't believe nobody.
Yeah, you're kind of tough, Bobbie.
Yeah.
But-
So anyway, they thanked the people very much for helping them to hold on to their children.
Oh goodness.
Yeah, their children who they did not believe when she tried to tell them something. You know, so.
Oh, yeah. With
When
Emily.
we got home, boy, we got a what for, I'll tell you what. We got a what for.
So how long did you end up staying in that home?
I was there 4 years. Emily was there almost 4 years.
So they took her away first from you?
Yeah, because she got hold of Miss Creel, Emily did.
Who's Miss Creel?
She was our caseworker.
Okay.
And she told the caseworker of what was going on, and that Mom would not listen and would not believe her. And Emily said that if something isn't done, she said, I'm going to run away again. I ain't staying in this house where that man is trying to molest me all the time. She said, I'm going to get pregnant. I don't want to get pregnant. That's what Emily told him. So Miss Creel says, I will take care of this. So Miss Creel did take care of it. They got Emily out of that home.
But did they leave you there?
They left me there.
But you and Emily, how old?
We were like 11 months apart.
So they should have taken you away too. I mean,
They should have, but it didn't. Not at that point. They needed to find me a home.
yeah.
So I didn't realize they were looking to find me a home. I thought I was, oh goody, everything's mine now. I can live here all by myself.
But you love Emily. You missed her.
I loved Emily, but I was a selfish little brat. I really was. I was a selfish little girl.
Yeah.
I wanted physical things, you know,
Yeah.
and I wanted all the attention for myself. You know, so that's what I wanted. And I had it for several months. And then all of a sudden, the mom would come to me. Mom came to me, and she said, Barbara, I've got some bad news for you, honey. You know,
Oh wow.
and she told me that they were going to be taking me away. And I started bawling my eyes out, you know.
So you actually liked them a
I
bit.
loved the home. Jimmy didn't bother me the way he bothered Emily. He tried one night, and I told Jimmy, if you don't get the hell away from me, I'm going to scream. And I mean it, you know. And he was drunk. So
How old was he?
He was in his middle 20s, I think.
Oh wow, he was.
He was
That's really
discharged.
bad.
He had a dishonorable discharge from the Army because of his drinking. You know, so he came home dishonorably, and we were already living there by the time he got home. You know, so he decided he liked Emily, I guess, and she was 14, I think.
So.
Starting to mature a little bit, you know.
Mhm.
I wasn't maturing like Emily was yet, you know, so I was still a little girl to him. Until she was gone, then he had another little girl to play with, or he thought he did.
So did our mother have an accent, a heavy accent?
Our mother?
Mhm.
I think she did. She had a southern accent. I'm going back to when she says, Barbara Ann, you do not, you know.
Because that's your biggest memory, getting hit like
Yeah.
that, because that's a wallop. Yeah, I can
That was
see
the
that.
only time, one other time she walloped me across the backside when I was sound asleep.
Sound asleep.
Yeah, there was a night that we had a bed big enough to have 4 kids at one end and 4 kids at the other.
Yeah, go sleeping toe to face or
Yeah,
something.
yeah. And I was in bed sound asleep, and the other ones were being rambunctious and whatnot. And Mama didn't allow that. You know, when you went to bed, you went to bed. So she gave me, I guess she must have given them a fair warning. She always did in the past. Next thing I know, I got this belt across my ass.
So every kid got hit, no matter who did it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was it.
Do you remember going to Sunday school and things like that?
Yeah. And I remember Moody Bible Church.
Yeah, and that was on the bus, right?
Yeah,
The bus.
and I told you about the incident where we took the money out of the offering basket.
Oh, go ahead and tell that story.
Here we go. I'm going to get walloped again.
Bobbie was a problem.
We were sitting down in the pews, and they were the wicker baskets they had for offerings. They were passing those along. By the time they got to us, they had quite a lot of change in it. And there were some bills, but we didn't touch the bills. We grabbed a couple of handfuls of change pretend we were putting money in the basket. And we weren't. We were just keeping it. We were putting it in our pockets. And by the time we left and we got on the bus, and the bus took us and brought us back, the Moody Bible Church bus. By the time we got let off to go home, we went, instead of going into the house, we went down to the corner store. And we bought a bunch of penny candy. Back then, they had penny candy, folks.
You were with Emily then,
Yeah.
too, right?
Yeah. But Emily didn't take the money.
Yeah.
I took the money.
Yeah, true. But she ate the candy.
Yeah, well, hey, you know. My sister Barbara's giving it to me. I may as well eat it, you know. So we went to the store, and I bought a whole bunch of penny candy because I had a whole bunch of money. Or what I thought was a whole bunch of money. You know, so they had these little paper bags. And they put the candy in there, and like the Twizzlers was sticking out, you know, of the bag, and I'm carrying it home, and I'm eating some, and we get to the house, and there's Mama at the front door, because she wanted to know why we weren't back from church yet. And she sees this candy in the bag. I ain't too bright at this point. I'm not hiding it. Barbara Ann, where'd you get that candy from, girl? Mama bought it. Duh. Really
You bought it.
Well, I don't want her to think I stole it. You know, so she says, and just what did you use for money? Did you steal money from your daddy? Oh, no, Mom, I wouldn't steal money from Daddy. Like hell I wouldn't. I would have had a chance. Anyway, so she finally got it out of me that we took it out of the church pew basket, the basket. And she made us go outside and pick some switches off the tree.
Is that you? When you say switches off the tree, do you mean branches?
Branches.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I never heard them called switches before.
Southern people call it switches.
Oh, okay.
Back then, anyway. I don't know what they do now, but we called it switches.
Did you pick your twig for yourself?
We had to pick some switches and bring it in, and Mama took the switches and wallop across the legs, and wallop across the legs again and again, with a big lecture that goes along with it, and took the candy and tossed it in the trash.
Oh, so you...
And so she figured, before she tossed it in the trash, she figured up how much we had, how much money we had taken. You know, so because we had to pay it back. So she took money from Daddy to make us take it back to the church, to give it back to the church. We couldn't keep it. You know, so I don't remember how we had to make up for it. I just remember getting my butt whooped with those switches, you know, my legs.
So I asked Linda this. Do you remember her singing "You Are My Sunshine" to the kids?
Yeah, absolutely. Mama sang that to us kids, and you know, and she just loved her children and her babies, and especially the younger ones. You know, like 3, 2, and the little ones.
Yeah.
And of course, I'd come and sit down. She would have them on her lap, and I'd come sit down next to the chair next to her while she was singing. You know, you are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy
When skies are gray, you'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away.
Then there's the second verse, same as the first note number.
Yeah, the second verse. So what other memories do you have, good, bad, or ugly, if you want to share them?
I'm not sharing some of the ugly.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean that way. I meant like the getting spanked is kind of an ugly memory to me.
I remember Soap Sally. Remember Soap Sally? Did you tell her about Soap Sally? This was our daddy. We were told to go to bed, and if we didn't listen, Daddy, we had a basement. Daddy would make us go down in that basement, lock us down there, and he'd tell us Soap Sally was going to come and get us. And he said, Soap Sally's got real green eyes, so you better watch her, because when you see those green eyes, you know she's coming for you. We had a cat, had green eyes.
Oh, so you were scared of the cat.
Well, we thought it was Soap Sally.
Did you call her Soap Sally?
We saw the green eyes, and we thought Soap Sally was coming, and I don't know which brother it was coming around the basement window. Ooh, around the basement. Daddy must have told him to scare us. You know? Yeah. We were screaming, and he finally let us up. You're going to bed now? Yes, Daddy, we're going to bed. So we went to bed, and boy, I'll tell you, we was out like a light in no time.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
And as for anyone who doesn't know, Bobbie's real birth name was Barbara Ann.
Yes.
But Bobbie chose to change it to Bobbie.
When I was 15 years old, I was living in the foster home, and back then the song Barbara Ann came out. And
Great song.
yeah. So the boys would come to me and Barbara Ann right in my face. Oh, man, I couldn't stand that. That really made me crazy.
Still filming?
Yeah, she's still filming.
I don't give up. I'm horrible.
Yeah. So anyway, when I left that foster home to go to my next foster home, I told them my name was Bobbie. And I asked my foster mother to call me Bobbie. And I told her why. And she said, I see no problem with that. We can call you Bobbie. Everybody can have a nickname if they want one. Mm-hmm. So long as you know that on your regular papers you got to put Barbara Ann. So when I was at school, I asked my teacher if I could put Bobbie on my papers, and she would know it was from me. And of course she would probably write Barbara Ann out of herself, but she said yeah, because I told her why. And nobody ever knew except for my teachers. Nobody ever knew my name was Barbara Ann.
Yeah, I've always known you as Bobbie because that's all anybody except Emily
so
used to call.
From the time I was 15,
you call her
15 years
Barbara.
old until now, I've been Bobbie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Bobbie is really smart too. She's really smart. I mean, you've been a beautician. You went to nursing school.
Yeah.
Became a nurse. She's just really a smart person.
I owned my own beauty shop.
Owned her own
It was called
shop.
Bobbie's Magical Shears. And it was in Cicero, New York.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she was married to a wonderful man named Kurt, right?
Yep. Oh, yeah, absolutely. He was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she also has a son that unfortunately passed away, if you don't mind me saying. Is that okay?
That's all right. Daniel was 10 years old when he passed.
Yeah.
And that's enough said about that.
Yeah. And do you okay, so I'm going to ask you about me. Do you remember my dad, right?
When you guys come over to Mary Ann's?
No, my dad, my birth dad.
Oh, your birth dad?
Yeah, because you
John Hancock?
No. His name's Bertie. John Hancock is a building in Chicago. Everybody called him John Hancock because they got confused, but it's Bertie Hancock.
Oh, whatever, Mr. Hancock. We had to call him Mr. Hancock. Yeah, I remember him.
Is there anything you can tell me about him?
No.
No, nothing?
No.
Okay.
He was tall, I can tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a nice man, or we thought he was nice. He would take us grocery shopping with Mama and buy lots of food and put it in the house. That's about all I want to remember.
Okay. And so what other memories do you want to tell? Anything? Is there anything we missed? Linda?
I just talked about when I went to camp and Mom sent us away to camp.
Bible camp? Or
Remember the time when you almost drowned and it was my fault?
That I don't remember.
At the Vanderbilts?
Oh, that one. That's a good
She,
story. Go
you
ahead and
almost,
tell that
yeah.
story.
What you, wow.
Linda and I lived together for a short time at the Vanderbilts, and they were wonderful people. And I wanted to go swimming. And Linda, of course, wanted to go if I was going. And they said that we can't go swimming in the deep end or nothing. We have to go into the shallow end if they allow us to go. Well, I never listened to nothing, nobody. And Linda followed me. Somehow or another, she ended up in the deep end and almost drowned.
We went off a diving board.
Yep.
The high dive and low dive.
You went off a diving board and you
both
couldn't
did.
swim?
We
Right,
couldn't swim.
Wow. And you were okay though?
And we were told by our parents that if we didn't obey the rules, like going in the deep end, etc., we would not be able to go back. And they trusted us to walk to the city pool and back home.
And do what we were told, but
And,
we
yeah.
didn't.
Wow.
And we didn't earn their trust because we naturally followed each other off the diving board. And we both went under the water, and we had to have
Guards come and
guards
get you?
come and get us out.
Holy
and,
cow.
Yeah.
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 Well, I'm so glad I still have you
And it
guys
was my
there.
fault because she followed me.
And the key is, she said, don't tell Daddy or something.
Yeah, don't tell.
And
Oh.
that was the
big
first thing
mouth.
that I would do. Was
Big
tell.
mouth. Is this?
I
are you-
would tell.
Yeah.
I felt
well,
guilty. We disobeyed, and so we weren't ever allowed back at the pool.
Your fault.
And then you were raised. Were you raised Baptist more or less, but changed to Catholic, or how? Were you any
No.
particular?
Mama was Baptist. We had her faith because that's the way we were taught.
Right.
When I moved down here, I was looking for a church. I wanted to go to something very similar to what Mama had. But my friend Joyce was Lutheran, so she got me to go to her church. And I got baptized at her church. So-called baptized. I do not believe in the way they baptized. So I didn't feel baptized. I still don't feel baptized.
Yeah.
And I think if you don't feel baptized, you're not baptized. You know, I believe that you're supposed to be submerged, you know, and brought back up, just like Jesus was. And so when I left that church and went to the one down here, I'm a member down here. And I asked them about getting baptized, and they said, well, we will do that eventually. I felt put off.
Yeah, I don't like that either. That's
You know,
kind of.
don't give me eventually. I need to get baptized now. I'm not getting any younger. You know, come on. So I got to find me a church that'll baptize me.
Yeah.
You know.
So I want to say something personally about Bobbie. She's looks like tough on the outside, but she's got a heart of gold, and she'll melt on the inside. I'm telling you, she loves her family.
Yeah.
She'll do anything for any of us. And you took Sharon and took care of her wedding for her. When Oliver died, you were the one that came to the rescue outside my parents donating money and setting that all up for him. And then you also took Betty at one time, too, out of foster care, right? Mm-hmm. Our sister Betty was in foster care, and Bobbie took full custody of her when she was old enough to do that and took her out of foster care.
I was 18. She was 6 years younger than me, so
Yeah.
what did that make her? How much is 18 minus 6?
12.
Yeah, she was 12.
Yeah. So, that's the kind of heart she has. She won't tell anybody that, and she won't show it, but we know
Don't you go believe in a word she says.
it. You see? I love you, Bobbie.
I love you too, honey.
Thank you so much. I guess that's it, huh?
Oh, well,
Unless you got something to say.
well, you better shut that thing off on account of you. It's going to take you forever to upload it.
Yeah, it'll take time, but that's okay.
Well, we're going to go around the house. We're going to do all that stuff.
Oh, yeah, we got to do that later, too.
yeah.
All right, let me shut this off
So
and we'll do that.
Save that for that.
Okay, there you go, fam.
All right. Later.
Love you guys and friends. Love ya. Later.